Hey, what's going on? Pat McLaughlin here from drumlinechops.com, and today I'm joined with Brian Blume. Brian is a great percussionist and an excellent educator, and I'm really excited that he's taken the time to join me today for this interview. Brian started playing for his high school drumline when he was in 6th grade and went on to march the Glassman Drum and Bugle Corps for 4 years. He also got his bachelor's and master's degree in percussion from Indiana University. He's currently freelancing around the Indianapolis area and teaches the drumline at Center Grove High School. Throughout this interview, we talk about all the drum corps experience he has, how he writes drumline shows, things that he's been working on, and even some recent compositions that he recently released. So make sure that you stick around until the end, because at the end, he gives you some really, really good advice for what you can do this week to improve your rudimental drumming. Thanks for checking this out, and I hope you enjoy the interview. All right, hey everybody, what's going on? Pat McLaughlin here with drumlinechops.com, and today I am joined with Brian Blume. Brian, thanks for joining us today.
You bet, man. Thanks for having me.
Really, really excited to get this interview going and learn more about you and what you've been up to lately, and you know, what you've been doing in the marching percussion activity. Mm-hmm. So let's start off with how you got involved with marching percussion.
Yeah, I grew up in a house of musicians. My dad was a band director, so at my high school, I went to a very small school in Indiana. And the biggest thing that we did at my school was marching band. So I grew up with it from the time I was born, basically, being around the marching activity. And I got to be in marching band as a 6th grader for the first.
Wow.
I got to play in the pit as a 6th grader, and then I marched snare drum as a 7th grader. I was, you know, I probably weighed about as much as the snare drum did. So I got to do 6 years of actual marching in the high school. As I said, it was a very small school.
Yeah, yeah.
So they needed younger players, but I was very, very involved. Loved the marching activity in high school. I was introduced to drum corps somewhere around my freshman year of high school through some instructors that taught there, and then I got to go see my first show in about 2000, I think, of drum corps, and I was hooked, you know.
Yeah.
I just was blown away. So at that point, you know, I decided at some point I need to do this. I need to continue that marching career and do the drum corps thing, which I got to do, and we can maybe talk about that more down later on. But
well, yeah, let's jump into that then. So, you know, where all did you march and study percussion and teach and all that?
Yeah, I marched at the Glassman from 2003 to 2006. I played snare drum all 4 years, and that was just, you know, that was a great experience for me. That led to so many different things as well, and so I started right after I finished my senior year of high school is when I began marching, and then I went to study music at Indiana University. I did a bachelor's degree and a master's degree at IU.
Go Hoosiers!
That's right. Yeah, that's exciting. Too bad they stunk at basketball most of the time I was there. Now they're good again, now that I'm gone. But
yeah, they're doing really, really well.
Yeah.
Really well. Cool. So then once you graduated from IU, what have you been up to now?
I moved to Indianapolis, and I've been freelancing. I've been playing in a few orchestras, doing some recording sessions, doing solo gigs, duo gigs, things like that when I can. I've been teaching a lot, largely at Center Grove High School in Greenwood, and working with the marching activity, the marching band and indoor drumline there, teaching private lessons and some classes here and there. And then I'm writing music as well. I'm writing for concert percussion, solos, and ensembles. I'm writing a lot of indoor and marching band music as well. So between those things, it's keeping me busy enough.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. With all that you know, experience and in different musical settings and different styles, what qualities and characteristics are you looking for when you listen to a drum line and when you teach a drum line?
Yeah. Again, one of the best things that I can see and hear in a drum line is a sense of maturity and musicality, and that can mean a lot of different things. But I love watching a drum line, of course, that plays clean and together. But I love watching a drum line that's controlled and can play high and low, loud and soft. So many drum lines play loud just fine, but can they play soft? And can they play slowly? Can they play, rhythms with lots of space in them? I just love seeing a drum line that can play really controlled and relaxed and do all those different things that, to me, says maturity. And that's really the biggest thing, I think, that I enjoy. And it's not something that's always rewarded competitively, but it's something that I certainly enjoy, seeing a drum line that has that maturity.
Yeah. Well, and I think those are the things that are easily overlooked in the activity because there are so many technically demanding things that members of drum lines that are being asked to do. And so the immediate focus is on, how fast can I play this? How loud can I play this? How hard can I make this exercise to be even more technically demanding so that I can show my skill, right? And I completely agree with you that one of the really cool things is actually to dial all that back and do the opposite. How slow can you play something? How quiet can you play something? How much finesse can you play something with? And just like you said, really demonstrate that, musical maturity rather than just technical skill all the time.
Yeah.
I'm really, really glad that you also feel that way, and maybe it'll start to get rewarded more in the activity.
Definitely hope, right?
Yeah. So then, with those characteristics and those qualities, as well as all the different experiences you've had with your musical background, I know that you're composing a lot and doing a lot of that lately, especially. How do you feel that your drumline experience has influenced your compositional style?
Good question. Well, the easiest part of that answer is just taking a lot of the things that I played and kind of dissecting those things and taking the things that I liked of that and applying that to the way that I write. And then a big aspect of it is the flow and the structure of, say, an indoor drumline show that maybe I've taught or that I've played in or something, and taking the big picture aspects of that and applying it to a composition. Things like, a lot of times when people write a show, they kind of draw it out and you have your highs and your lows and things like that. I like to think of that a lot of times when I'm writing a piece, whether it's for a marching band or indoor drumline, or whether it's for a marimba solo, and try to plot things out and think, how's this going to flow and make sense from beginning to end? And that's probably a big aspect. And then just variety. I enjoy trying to make things new, trying to make things different. It's really challenging, with so much written, to come up with new ideas, but just all the different experiences and background that I have.
Lost some connection. We'll wait a second and see if this... There you are. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, can you... we lost you there at the end. Can you kind of recap?
Just with a variety of musical experiences and background, I like to try to create new things, taking from all these different things in the past and see what happens if I combine this with this and, these different things to try to create something new, as difficult as that can be sometimes.
Yeah. Well, so Strands of Time is one of your more popular Rudimental pieces, which is a really, really great piece. I love listening to that piece.
Cool.
Can you talk a little bit about the concept behind that and then what you did to represent that concept musically with that piece?
Yeah, well, I knew this was the first stab at writing a solo with electronic accompaniment for me, but I knew I wanted to really weave them together in different ways and almost blur the acoustic with the electronic. And so that's kind of where the strands came, you know, literally weaving strands together in different ways. And so that was mentally, that was what I started off with. And I think it turned out, you know, different than I anticipated, but I think overall it still accomplished that goal.
Yeah. I think it's a great piece overall, and I think that concept is really well displayed.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I love especially just how tasty all the electronics are with the track. Mm-hmm. I've heard a lot of pieces that mix, you know, acoustic and electronic tracks, basically. And the electronic tracks seem so just blatantly obvious. You know, and with Strands of Time, there are such subtle moments that you really do, like you said, kind of have to second guess, like, okay, is that acoustic coming from somewhere else, or is that actually part of the electronic track?
Yeah, and a lot of the piece, I think I did start with the mindset of having it sort of just a background and atmosphere, mm-hmm. which I think is what happens the first minute or so of the piece, and then that electronic part, the track begins to almost come to life more and more. And as the piece goes on, you hear more of that, the marching snare drum, and more of those, you know, articulate sounds sort of taking over.
Yeah.
And also part of the goal, I guess, was to make it something that people would enjoy listening to. To make it, there's a certain groove aspect to it, I think, that makes it a little more fun with the 7/8 and 7/4 feel, and then there's just the idea that I didn't want it to be like every other Rudimental solo. That's why, you know, I kind of call it for the concert hall or for the recital hall. It's supposed to be something a little different in that regard too.
Yeah, well, I think you nailed all those goals on the head.
Thanks.
Yeah, very good. It came out really, really well. So what are you up to these days with new compositions and things like that?
Well, of course, I'm writing for indoor and marching band. Kind of each season, I'll have a few groups. But one of the main things I've really spent a lot of time on recently is some Christmas music. I recently recorded and released a Christmas album of 12 tunes. It's got 7 marimba solos and 5 marimba vibraphone duets that I've mostly arranged over the last 6 or 8 months, and a few over the last few years that I was able to kind of hang on to and use. And so that has been very time consuming. Hard work's done now. It's out. I'm just trying to let people know about it and share that with the world, and make the music available to folks who would like to try to play the music. And so yeah, that, like I said, that took, you know, a good 3 or 4 month chunk earlier this year to really pound all that out. But I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Good, yeah. And I listened to a bunch of the recordings on your website, which is, so everybody can go check it out. It's brianblumemusic.com, correct?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, so everybody should definitely go check that out and check out the pieces, because they're really, really neat. And you know, I think Christmas music is one of those things that can get overdone not in terms of like composition styles, but just in general. Like, seems like Halloween hits, and then the second Halloween is over, the Christmas music starts creeping in, and then before you even get to Thanksgiving, like, they're all over the radio, right? So then by the time Christmas comes, you're like, I don't want to hear this again, you know?
Yeah.
But no, once again, I think your compositional style fits very, very well for what you did, and you made some of those pieces really, really interesting. To where I was, you know, I wanted to listen to them. It wasn't like, oh, not this song again. So
yeah, and I've had a few folks say, you know, I'm not a big fan of Christmas music, but I love to hear your stuff just because it's marimba music, right?
Exactly, yeah, and it's not a medium that's frequently mixed with Christmas music.
Right. And so some people enjoy it just as a piece of marimba music, you know, and that's really cool. One of the first things I thought of when I came up with the idea to do this was, okay, there's 20,000 versions of Silent Night. Like, how am I going to make it different?
Right.
That's interesting. Well, one of the ways you make it different is you write it on the marimba, because not a whole lot of people have done that, though it has, of course, been done. So that was something I wanted to do intentionally, was, again, make it new, make it interesting, that people would want to listen to it and not, you know, get tired of it because they've heard it already.
Yeah, yeah. So, what were some maybe compositional things that you did with those pieces to differentiate them
Yeah,
from, the standard Christmas song?
good question. Well, I mean, the fact that it's idiomatically playing on that instrument is different than, say, singing or playing on a trumpet or a harp or even a piano. It's a little different. And so right there, just writing for the marimba relatively idiomatically how it fits and flows well creates a little bit different style from the start. And there were some different things, just trying to change some keys and harmonies that I thought were a little different or a little more modern sounding. I would change the meters a few times to really give it a different feel, or like We Three Kings was an example. That's a duet I did. A lot of people take We Three Kings and will make it a little more Middle Eastern sounding or something like that. I kind of took it and made it more of a sort of a modern dance and put it in 5/8. And it gives it just a real different feel and something I hadn't heard before and thought I'd give it a try. So things like that.
Nice, very very nice. And do you have any concerts, where you'll be playing these? I think we lost the connection again for a second.
Yep.
There you go. Do you have any concerts where you're going to be playing these?
Yeah, I've done a few already. I'm playing at a few like church services on Sunday mornings. I'm doing a few clinics / performances at some high schools around the area. And kind of my main concert, I guess, is at Center Grove on December 17th. I'm doing kind of a whole evening of percussion music with myself and another friend, and kind of make it a little fun party, do the festive Christmas sweaters and have some drinks and some decorations and fun stuff like that. Just trying to get friends and family, local folks maybe that want to come out and hear that for a night.
Nice. So speaking of playing with people, you mentioned you were playing with a friend. I had no idea that you and Colin Hill have an ensemble together.
Yes, we've called it the Blue Hill Duo. Sort of was put on hold this semester. Colin has been extremely busy working on a doctorate at Kentucky, and so we've been kind of put it on hold. But yeah, we did some stuff last spring that was really fun. Colin is a great friend, incredible player, and I think we'll continue that in the future too.
Yeah, you guys should. I had no idea, and I was checking out your YouTube channel the other night, and kind of in preparation for this, and I saw the videos that you guys had put up, and he's such a great guy. He's like such a great guy and a really really good player, and it's neat to see you guys play together because your playing styles blend very very well. Yeah. You guys play very similarly. You phrase things very similarly, and all those videos are amazing. They're really really good.
Yeah, it was fun. Like the moment we started together, we started our masters at the same time at IU.
Okay.
And so from day one, for the 2 years we were there together, we did almost every ensemble piece together. We did so many things together, and it just it clicked. And we knew, we need to do something more with this. And of course, it didn't happen until he went to Kentucky and I moved to Indy.
Make it increasingly difficult.
Yeah, but we made it work. We did a lot of preparation on our own, and with recording tracks and stuff like that, click tracks, and then we'd get together and rehearse, and it didn't take too much work. So yeah, we'll keep that going. I'm probably gonna write a piece for us in the spring. That's
very cool.
Pretty high on the list of things to do. We'll see if it happens. But
what's your YouTube channel for people to go check out these videos?
Yeah, go to youtube.com, and my username is Brian C. Blume. You can look that up and find me there.
Yeah, so everybody should definitely go check out those videos. And even if you're just a rudimental percussionist and you haven't either A, explored the orchestral world, or B, you just don't have the outlet to, you should definitely still go check out the videos that Blue Hill have made. Because there's some really, really great music being made there, and you could definitely learn a lot still. Yeah,
and I'll mention too that Colin is also a rudimental percussionist. He's got a background of drum corps and drumline in college, and the ease with which we were able to come together and play, because we prepared 3 hours apart with him in Kentucky and me in Indiana. We were able to come together, and it locked in because the general like tempo control and understanding of rhythms and things like that that we learned with that rudimental drum corps background, it made playing together as a duo that much easier. I mean, just it was so fun to work with somebody who I knew was going to have the exact same time that I did. Things like that. It was really fun.
Yeah, yeah. And Colin's, yeah, a great player. I can't speak highly enough of him. And he did Seattle Cascades in 2002, I think.
Yeah.
And then I know him through going to North Texas with him. So
yeah.
He was on the line there and whatnot. So great guy. You guys should, yeah, definitely. I'll stop ranting about it. But go check out Brian's YouTube page and watch those videos because they're really great.
Thanks.
So with all that you've done with the activity and you know, gone to school and taught, been a member of Drumline, composed, all that stuff, what are 2 life lessons that you've actually taken away from the activity throughout all this?
Yeah, that's a good question. One thing I would say is my first year at drum corps, this one always sticks with me for some reason. I pretty quickly learned not to let like the little annoyances, the little things in life get to me. It's easy to just get real upset about one thing and let it blow up and just ruin everything. Or you could just say, you know what, that's not a big deal. We're going to move on and make the best of the situation. And that was something that I remember really taking away, especially at drum corps. Drum corps is just a challenging activity in a lot of ways. So
yeah,
that was one. Gosh, I don't know, another one. I mean, I guess this is maybe a little less of a life lesson, but more of kind of a musical percussion lesson maybe. But I've learned that it's kind of all the same. You know, we talk about different parts of percussion, but in some way it all boils down to this music. It boils down to this language of communication, and it's just really neat. It's kind of neat to think about it almost being bigger than anything that I can think. You know, it's bigger than me. Kind of so mind-boggling sometimes to think about how music kind of connects so many things. It's really cool. Kind of keeps me going, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So the last question that I always like to ask is, what's one thing that Drumline Chops members can do this week to help them improve their rudimental drumming?
Man, I would say fundamentals. As a teacher, we focus so much on the fundamentals from the start through high school. And so pick a fundamental, whether it's controlling the tempo, practice, you know, playing perfectly in time, practice your double stroke rolls in a certain way, practice, you know, detailing some finger technique, or, you know, just find a single fundamental that you know that you need some work on this week, and spend some time with the metronome slowly working on that one thing. It can be exhausting and like, oh, I just want to play this fun piece of music. That'll come, and I'll tell you what, that piece of music will be better when you've worked on that fundamental skill.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing I just kind of want to piggyback on you with
Sure.
is slow practice.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of touched on it earlier, is, you know, the tendency and the main desire when people, you know, a lot of times first get involved with this activity is just to go as fast as you can, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But really breaking things down so that you understand them from a fundamental foundation, and then building on top of that foundation versus just trying to speed something up without really understanding what you're doing or how you're moving, or you know all the things that are involved with it, and that goes a really long way if people do that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's easy to skip over those things, and you know, there's an aspect of when you're younger players, you don't want to get overwhelmed with the details of, you know, the physics and the science of it all, because that makes it not fun.
Right.
There's a point where, especially as you're developing through middle school and high school and to college or whatever, that you need to understand how it all works and why my hands are doing this and what I feel on this middle finger here, and, you know, stuff like that. That's really important when you're drumming. You need to understand it, and that comes from doing it extremely slowly from practicing in front of a mirror, videotaping yourself, things like that. I totally agree. It makes all the sense in the world to break it down slowly. You don't learn to write and read by like some teacher hands you a novel and you're in first grade. Here you go. You got to start with the basics slowly, one thing at a time. So I agree with you.
Yeah, and great points there. So yeah, that's all the questions we have for it today. So thank you so much for taking the time to do this and join us and everything. Where can people get in touch with you?
The best place is go check out my website, brianbluemusic.com. I'm on Twitter at Brian C. Blume. You can follow me there. And yeah, I'd love to hear from anyone. If you have questions about anything you heard today or my music or anything, feel free to get in touch with me. My email address is on there. You can get me on Twitter, however you like. But appreciate you having me on here, Pat. And hopefully, of course. To all of you guys at Drumline Chops.
Yeah. And here's what else we can do. We can I'll create like a forum thread with this interview in it as well. And if people have questions for you about any compositions that you've done or anything that they want to kind of pick your brain out a little bit more, they can post a question there and we'll get you account set up and you can respond to them there and stuff as well.
Great. That'd be great.
So yeah, well, thanks again for joining us. It's been a blast. And,
thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate it. We'll see everybody next time.
All right, take care.
All right, so that's it for the interview. I hope that you enjoyed it and got a lot out of it. Like I said, Brian's a great guy and has a lot of really good things to say, so that I hope you took some things away from that. If you want more from Drumline Chops, head on over to drumlinechops.com if you're not there already and register as a free member. All right, as a free member, you get partial access to all the video lessons and exercises and sheet music and ebooks that we have. You also get access to the forum where you can log on and post questions, respond to questions. You can even ask Brian a question in a thread that we have going for that. All right. Once you've been a free member for a while, check out the All Access plan, which gets you access to everything in the site, including all the video lessons, all the exercises, all the sheet music, all the ebooks, all that great stuff, all right? It's a really good resource for you to improve your rudimental drumming. We add new videos every single week so that you never run out of things to learn, and it'll really help you out, okay? So thanks so much for checking out this video. I hope that you enjoyed the interview, and we will see you over on drumlinechops.com.